I'm sure you've heard the story of whether or not the glass is half full or half empty. It's something that many of us have heard over the years, and there's a few slight different variations to it as well. And I'd like to go over that with you today. My name is Gunther Kramer. I'm the founder and CEO of Gecko Websites. And today I want to talk about having a proper mindset, having the right perspective, regardless of what you're doing in life, whether it's on a personal side or a business side. So getting back to that glass of water, we say that the pessimist sees that glass as half empty, whereas the optimist sees it as half full. Then there's another aspect of it, the realist. The realist sees it for what it is. They tend to look at things with logic and not so much with emotions. But then there's a fourth one. And that's the person who comes in while the other three are debating whether or not the glass is half full or half empty, or whether it just is a glass of water. And this fourth person goes in and just grabs the glass of water, drinks it, looks at the other three and says, I'm the opportunist. So instead of wasting time on deciding whether or not the theory is one way or the other, they're just saying, hey, here's an opportunity. Let's seize it while we can, because who knows how much longer that glass of water is still going to be around. Now, in today's world, we're currently going through the beginning of a global pandemic, unfortunately. And it's affecting just about every single human being on this planet, whether it's a private individual or a business or a government or a nonprofit organization. Everybody's beginning to feel that impact. Some a little bit harder than others. The frontline workers, of course, all the healthcare professionals, they're feeling it very hard right now. And when we're looking around at this world that we're currently living in, it's very easy to become a pessimist. It's very easy to get caught up in all the negative news and all the bad stories and let that tear us down. And instead, I want to be a voice of inspiration here and encourage you to look at things from a much more positive point of view, because the world is a wonderful place. I founded my company over 25 years ago, back in 1995. And since then, I've seen the world go through one crisis after another. And I've seen how private people as well as businesses have tried to cope with it. Ever since we had the dot-com bubble burst around the turn of the millennium, we had 9/11 happen in 2001. In 2008, we had the housing market financial crash. And then later on, that led to other financial issues, for example, over in Europe, primarily Greece. And the whole world suffered because of it. But yet, the world keeps turning. Life goes on. And this pandemic, too, shall pass. And it will be better and brighter on the other side of it all. And I know we're all really looking forward to that time. And how long it's going to take, we don't know. And therefore, there's a lot of uncertainty. And that's where the pessimism can easily sneak in. And so I encourage each and every one of you to really, really look around and say, wait a minute, what role do I play here? What can I do for myself and for those around me? And the first step I would say is have that perspective shift. Don't be the pessimist. Be more the optimist, or better yet, the opportunist. Now, when I say opportunist, I want to clarify that, because a lot of times in times like this, people see opportunists as those people who are trying to take from others. And that's not at all what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about someone who's hoarding supplies and then trying to sell them at a much higher price that's unreasonable. I'm talking about people who are opportunists in the sense that they're taking opportunity of the situation in order to create a win-win situation for everybody out there. Those are the true heroes. We're seeing that today. We're seeing companies where they're changing their tooling on their production line. So instead of producing cars, they're producing ventilator equipment. Or the retail industry, the clothing industry especially, has been decimated by all of this. And instead now they're producing hospital gowns and surgical face masks and so on to help those frontline workers. And this is the type of inspirational work that I'm talking about. And each and every one of us can do something along those lines in our own way. And it starts with having a very positive mindset. Think about, what can you do? And it might be something as simple as saying, you know what, I have a neighbor or a family member or a friend, maybe they're a little elderly, and I want to make sure that they're okay. I'm going to check up on them. I'm going to go and maybe do a grocery run for them and get some things so that they don't have to put themselves in harm's way. If you're a business owner, or if you have some kind of influence within your company, think about, what is it that your company has to offer? What is it that you can do? How can you change things? And I know there's going to be some business owners that are going to say, well, I can't do this because it's going to hurt my bottom line. Well, if the world is going downhill and everybody's struggling and suffering, it's going to go downhill even more so if we don't all participate and help. So again, I would encourage business owners, think about what it is that you can do. And sometimes the answer is not always obvious. I mean, who would have thought that an auto parts manufacturing company would one day be building ventilator equipment for hospitals? It's a shift in thinking. And sometimes that means we have to remove ourselves from all the distractions in life, get away from the news channels, and think about what is it that we have to offer? What are our products, our services? What do our people have for skill sets? What kind of equipment do we have? What can we put together to help people out? And this is something that we can all do, whether it's on a small scale or a big scale, it all helps. So having said all that, I encourage you to go back to that glass of water and rethink how you look at that and come up with different ways that you can help all of us here in society. This is Gunther Kramer from Gecko Websites. Wish you guys all the best. Stay safe.